That's good. That's good stuff. Yeah. More. Yeah. That's good.
Okay, so we had movie night, and Bill, I think his name's Bill. I don't really know Bill that well. He was there. He suggested Tarot. It's currently playing on Netflix, and he read that it is. I don't know where he read this at, but it is a mix of. It's a cross between Talk to Me and the Final Destination series. Now I watched the trailer for this, and I was like, "Oh, I don't know about this. I don't know about this." But we watched it. Freaking Bill. Okay, to put this simply, you have a bunch of dumb kids, I guess 17 to 19 ages, I guess, out in the middle of the woods. They're drinking. They find a creepy house. They go in the creepy house. They go in the creepy basement. They find creepy tarot cards, and they unleash some sort of evil. And then they start dropping off. All right, that's the plot. And you say to yourself, "That's a good generic horror movie right there. It's a good setup." How do you mess that up? So this movie stars, I don't know his name. I didn't bother to learn it, not gonna learn it. It's the dude who's the best friend of Peter Parker. You know who that actor is? That dude. He's the only person that I recognize in this movie. Poor guy. So how do you mess this up? They got all the types wrong, right? You need to have the jock, the nerd, right? The outcast. You need to have the hoe. You need to have the goofball. You need to have all these types, and then the killing starts. They didn't have. These were the most boring kids I've ever seen, and they were drinking. Totally boring. They didn't have any of those types down at all. And then the tarot cards had really nothing. They had a chance to make this real detailed and make it cool how all these people died because of tarot cards, and that's kind of what they tried to do, but they barely tried. It's a half-assed effort at best. It's just terrible. Look, dude, who is Peter Parker's best friend, you're making that Marvel money now. You don't need to do this, okay? You don't need to do this anymore. You're making that Marvel money. Aren't you some sort of like wizard now that's doing the thing? You're gonna have all kinds of Marvel stuff coming up. Right? You don't need to. In fact, if I was Kevin Feige, I would look at this and be like, I can't trust this guy. He's gonna make a movie like this. I can't trust him. Can't trust him. How do you make a movie this bad? Is what I want to know. How? I blame everybody around. Like it's kind of like if there is an addict. There's an addict in the group. We all know this person's addicted to something and nobody does anything. And we just watch this person spiral out of control. That's what it's like. Because there's so many people around this movie and nobody's saying anything. Nobody's saying, "Hey, this sucks. Let's not do this." In fact, if I were the director and I was watching this movie, because the acting's bad, the production's bad, the writing's bad, the dialogue's bad, the killing's bad, the killing. You would think at least we can get some kills. Now, there were some creepy images. A couple of creepy images. But that's all I'll give this movie. All right, the killing was so ridiculous. Not in a good way. Final Destination, good way of ridiculousness. This was so just lazy. There's one kill in particular where someone gets killed by a ladder. Not spoiling anything exactly, but it doesn't really matter. Don't watch this movie. Someone gets killed by a ladder, and a ladder just keeps smashing on top of this person. There's no way that anybody, like if cops were looking at this, there's no way that a person could have done this and gotten away. There's like no evidence. So what are the cops thinking? Are they just thinking it's a ghost? Or are they not trying? They're not trying to catch anybody. I mean, I would be pulling each one of them aside, asking them questions. They don't do that. They don't do any of that stuff, right? So are they just thinking it's a ghost? Like when you kids out in the middle of the woods and you unleash some sort of evil, you did that. That's probably what's going on. All right, case closed. I guess that's what they did. Terrible. How do you make a movie this bad? You know who should really be mad? Everyone who was involved in Borderlands, because Borderlands on Rotten Tomatoes got 10%. 10%. You know what this movie got? 18%. 18. How? There's like shadowy figures coming out of the darkness, dragging people off, and that's just sometimes they die, sometimes they stay alive. Like the force killing them is everything about this movie is just lazy. All right, there's a part, and I know that they realize this too, because I could give this movie a little bit of a break. It was just seemed like everyone just got together, did cocaine, and then made this movie. But it's not even like that. The producers of this movie seemed totally sober. So there's no real excuse other than laziness. there is a part where a person dies. You think that they die. I'm not really spoiling anything, but you think that they die, and then they come back, and like the movie kind of stops to say, "Hey, how are you still alive?" And then they just kind of laugh it off. It made no sense. It made no sense. They explain it. The explanation makes no sense. No sense at all. And then they just drive off laughing. Damn this movie. Damn you, Bill. Grade F. Okay, I can't do it. This movie is just, it's bad in every single way. Every single way. They could not die fast enough. The dialogue was so ugh. There was nothing. There was no comedy to it. There was no one was charismatic. In fact, I'm getting F. I'm done. Don't watch the movie.
Oh, it's good. It's good. Well, not the movie. But the movie was just terrible.
And how dare you say that this is a cross between Talk to Me, which is a great movie, and Final Destination, which was a fun series. I need a drink. It's terrible. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.